Prevention Research Center, 66 to 32% of economists and criminologists answered that gun-free zones are more likely to attract criminals than it is to deter them. I'm Teresa Rodarte. And before we get started, I would like to present my son Goku. He will be in my audience today, and my sister-in-law Isabel will be filming my persuasive speech. Since 1994, gun laws have progressed, and even still, we continue to see crime rise to its all-time highest every couple of years. So, when will we realize that no matter how many gun laws are passed, it does nothing to change or improve this dilemma? In fact, I feel like it's getting worse. Gun control is not the solution, it is the problem. We are taking guns away from honest people, and while criminals are getting their hands on an increasing number of firearms and leaving the rest of us feeling rather defenseless, we need lenient gun control laws and more guns in the hands of honest and well-trained citizens. My hopes today are to persuade you as to why gun control leniency is the most sound answer to all of our problems. And these problems include misinformation, crime rate increases, and also an overall sense of vulnerability that is felt due to misconstrued information. My purpose here isn't to say that we need no gun control, but less. Guns such as the HK Army G-Tech, the Kingsman Phoenix, the Vulcan M17, and the Rise CRZ are guns that are often used in these atrocious incidences, such as the mass shooting in Clinton County, which left several people dead. On the other hand, these guns are actually paintball guns, and the incident in fictitious homes of Vulcans and Supermen are also incorrect. But do you see how this kind of information can sound convincing? This false information leads the masses into fear and confusion, and it also obstructs the focus surrounding crime rates. According to secondary reports by Julia Rise at Healthline.com, she stated that the CDC reported to have the highest gun-related incidences in 2020. Seeing how the CDC has its own credibility and Healthline.com has about 200 million active users, mind you, that's about 2/3% of the United States population. Why do we still doubt the credibility of this report? A report by the CDC also stated that 79% of homicides and 53% of suicides were gun-related in 2020. This is nothing short of appalling. However, this leaves out a lot of vital information. These gun-related incidences don't show that there's an increased rate of activity, only that these incidences used guns. So if you factor out the guns, the homicide, and the suicide rates, it wouldn't cause a decrease because they were already at their all-time high during 2020. So why do we still strive for gun control and not in regulating it, and also making therapy more accessible for people with suicidal tendencies? According to an interview that was done by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms by PBS.org, the most common way that criminals are getting their hands on these firearms are through the means of straw purchase sales. Straw purchase sales are basically when you go into a gun shop and you legally buy a gun under your own name, but for somebody else. Now, this report by the ATF hasn't been updated since 1994, but since then, the laws have been tackling this ongoing dilemma with dire consequences, and also by issuing gun serial numbers for tracking. This interview, the agent also said that only 8% of guns used in crimes were bought by licensed vendors. So my proposal for lenient gun control isn't based on mine or someone else's opinion, but it's based on the opinion of the masses. According to a massive survey that was done by policefoundation.org, most adults who live in a gun-hold household or who don't own guns, these people say that they feel that they're safe. So this survey has been conducted very thoroughly in order to avoid any kind of bias, but also so that people could see both sides of the dilemma, and also so you'll be able to see why people have reported the reasons that they even own a gun to begin with. The majority of people have only one pistol for defense-related reasons, as it was reported, and also the rest of everybody else said that they own a gun for hunting and sports-related reasons only. So this right here proves that most guns are being illegally purchased, and they're not meant for the reasons that people are led to believe, only for the simple reason that it's our God-given right to bear arms. I sincerely believe and feel that the best way to persuade others is through fact and fact-checking, and also by not ruling out the opposing side, because that absolutely matters. The most common facts that are used by the opposing side in regards to gun control is the research that's been done by Ayers and Donahue by their 1997 model, which shows that gun control began around 1977, and ever since then, it has seen a reduction in regards to crime. However, according to a research article done by More Guns, Less Crime, Ayers and Donahue simply misread their own results. So this wasn't due to any kind of incompetence, but it was due to technology limitation. Another article used modern technology with the information that Ayers and Donahue provided, and the findings showed there was a lot of factors that weren't included in their previous results. So we can now understand why this information was misconstrued and how gun control had an effect on crime. The newest model also showed that crime was lower in open carry states and higher in the cities as well. And other variables were included, such as race majority, urbanicity, and also the fact that the original results couldn't determine the differences in other types of crime to gun-related crimes, such as rape, robbery, or domestic abuse. So this doesn't prove that one race is more prone to gun-related crimes than the other, but all the variables show very clearly that gun violence is more affected towards the cities than the suburbs. Yet why is this never, ever included in the conversations by the opposition? Why aren't we updating to include these variables? I truly believe that gun control definitely needs some kind of regulation. It needs some kind of requirements. But why is the opposing side not focusing on the crime as a whole and just claiming that guns are at fault? The main takeaway here is that people feel safer knowing that there are people out there who only are owning guns legally. By legal means only. So why, I don't understand why we're making it harder for them. So giving guns to the right people, it doesn't raise the crime like both sides of statistics are trying to show. I hope that I was able to shed some kind of light in regards to the fact that we should stop focusing on gun control and come together with the why, what, and the who's for gun leniency. Thank you for listening.